Video number 2, and we're going to talk about the pitch. As discussed in video 1, the pitch deals with strikeouts, walks, and hit by pitches, as well as things like wild pitches, balks, and pass balls. To start off, we'll have a quick look at the hit by pitch. Hit by pitch is on a rating scale of 1 to 100. A batter cannot have a hit by pitch rating over 100. And the pitcher will either keep the rating the same with a 0 rating, take off with a negative rating, or with a plus rating, give to the batter's hit by pitch rating. We can see down here, Jack McDowell. He's facing Kenny Lofton from the Indians. So over here with the Indians, we have a hit by pitch rating with the bases empty, Kenny Lofton 14. With men on, it's a 1. The adjustment for Jack McDowell with the bases empty is +3, and with men on is -5. The higher for the batter, the better. The lower for the pitcher, the better. That's the same with most things in Flipkart. There is one exception. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But generally, batter higher, better. Pitcher lower, better. Lower being negative for the pitcher. So, if we get our result with a hit by pitch, we need to check against the 2 cards. Flipkart baseball is a matchup game. So just about everything is matching the pitcher card and the batter card up to get a rating and the final result. So if there's no men on, we look at Kenny Lofton 14 is adjusted by the +3 of Jack McDowell, and 14 +3 is 17. You would roll the 2 10-sided dice, or you can flip the card if you want to. There is a random 100 on there. And if the result is between 1 and 17, Kenny Lofton would be hit by the pitch. On the other side of things, if there is a man on, say there's a man on first base, and Kenny Lofton, he's got a rating of 1 over here. Jack McDowell is a -5. Now, a -5 from 1 is -4. Rolling a 10-sided dice, you can't get a -4. So Kenny Lofton, in this case, is not able to be hit by the pitch. Simple as that. If the hit by pitch doesn't happen, simply means that you would go down to the card underneath and the ball would be in play, and you continue on from there. Next up, we're going to have a quick look at the walks. So the bases on balls rating, as you can see on the top card up here on the pitch, base on balls 1 is the lowest rating for a batter. Base on balls 15 is the highest rating for a batter. You're not going to get too many guys that are going to be 15ths. You're going to get some guys that are going to be 1s. Most guys are going to be somewhere in the middle there. I might actually get a couple of the White Sox guys out for this one, so just bear with me 1 second. I might bring up a Cleveland pitcher for that as well. Now, what I like to call the walk and strikeout section is basically a sliding scale. You'll see a result come up, and the batter has to be either equal to that result or above that result to get the walk. So these 2 results up the top here are obviously on the ends of the scale, but you're going to get results from walk of 1 all the way through to walk of 15 coming up in the deck on the pitch. When we talk in pitching and hitting and the matchup, we're talking about his patience to get walks. And we're talking a pitcher's control. So it's basically to get the walk, it's the batter's patience versus pitcher's control every time. So over here we can see that Aussie Guillen's got a patience of 2, both for bases empty and men on. If we come over to someone who is obviously quite a lot more dangerous hitter, Frank Thomas, you can see he's got a patience of 10 with the bases empty. And with men on, he's got a patience of 12. Now these patience rating, again, will be adjusted by the control of the pitcher. So -2 with the bases empty for Martinez, -1 with men on. So if Aussie Guillen with a walk of 2 is facing Dennis Martinez with a -2 with the bases empty, that takes him down to 0, and he cannot walk against Dennis Martinez with the bases empty. If there's a man on, he's got 2 again. Martinez will take 1 off him to take him down to a walk of 1 rating. So with this card here, walk of 1, Aussie Guillen would be able to walk only on base on balls 1 with men on base. If there are no men on base and his rating goes down to a 0, even a base on balls 1 card would not result in a walk. So basically you need to be equal to the rating on the flip card or above it to receive the walk. So below is bad for the batter, above or equal is good for the batter in the case of a walk. If this card came up here, a walk of 15, Aussie Guillen, who is a walk 0 or a walk 1, depending on the base situation, is nowhere near that. So in that case, he just puts the ball in play straight away. He's going to swing for that one. Frank Thomas is obviously going to be a lot different because he walks a lot. They don't call him the big hurt for nothing, so pitchers are going to be quite careful with him, and he's also going to have a pretty good eye. He's got a patience of 10 with men off. We adjust that to -2, which takes him down to a patience of 8. If this card comes up, walk 1, he's well above that, and above is good for the batter. So if it's good for the batter, the result on the card happens, he will walk. If walk 15 came up, he's an 8. So the result on the flip card is higher than his rating. So he can't walk in this case because his rating is below the flip card. So below is bad for the batter. He will put the ball in play. If he has that rating come up and the card says a walk of 8, in this case he would walk because it's equal. So if it's equal, the result of what happens happens. So a walk would happen. A base on balls would happen. So the walk result, it simply happens like that. Now, the strikeout result is exactly the same, except it's not a walk, it's a strikeout this time. So I'm going to bring back a couple of guys. I'm going to bring back Kenny Lofton and Jim Thome. Let's talk about strikeouts. Strikeouts is basically the contact rating for the batter. So how often does the batter contact and put the ball into play? And it's adjusted by the strikeout rating of the pitcher. So we can see with the bases empty, Kenny Lofton has a K10 contact or a 10 contact. And over here, they will be not adjusted at all because it's a 0 with Jack McDowell. So Kenny Lofton's rating is a 10. With men on, he puts the ball in play a little bit more. He'll be a K11 or an 11 contact. But Jack McDowell takes him down 1. So it'll be a -10. A 10, -1 makes a 10. So in this case, first Jack McDowell, Kenny Lofton is a K10 for both bases empty and men on. We've got some cards out here with strikeouts. Exactly the same thing. We have strikeout 1 to strikeout 15. Now you would think that strikeout 1 would be the lowest, but there's actually a strikeout 0 card that comes up a couple of times per 100. You do have people with K ratings of just a straight K with no number on it. That means that they're a K0. So again, strikeout 15 is the highest, K0 is the lowest. There are some blue readings that come up on these cards that take the strikeout ratings into negative. We'll talk about that on another video. Jack McDowell pitching to Kenny Lofton. We know that he has a K10 as we've just talked about. A K15 comes up. Kenny Lofton is lower as the batter than the rating on the card. His strikeout of 10 or K10 is lower than the 15. So because the batter is lower, for a batter if he's lower, it's bad for him. What's the worst thing that can happen for the batter? He can strike out. K1 comes up. Kenny Lofton's a K10. He's 9 higher than the card, so he's higher than the card. He's above the card. So a 10 is 9 above the card. Above is better for the batter. What's the best thing to happen here? It's obviously to put the ball in play. So if he doesn't strike out, he puts the ball in play. If he was to have a card that said K10, the flip card said K10, for instance, he would strike out. So whatever if he's equal to it, whatever the reading on the card is, that happens. So if it's a walk 5 and it brings up base on balls 5, he walks. If it's a strikeout 5 and he's a strikeout 5 or a contact 5, he will strike out. That's simply the sliding scale of the strikeouts and walks. That's probably the hardest thing to get a grip on, but it doesn't take too long to get a grip on it. Once you get a grip on it, you'll be looking at it, not really having to think too much. You'll get the result. You'll know if there's a strikeout or a walk, and you'll know whether to go to the ball in play section. If there's any questions about that, maybe put a comment down below, and we'll talk about it in a future video.